Uh, Moving on to item 9 then.
Okay.
You want to start with your questions?
Yes, I
Mr.
just
Member Gordon?
wanted Ms. Harrell to kind of just explain the functions of this contract with St. Mary's College and what these interns will be doing.
Before you do that, let me ask my question or make my point, and you can fold your response into both. Um, the My suggestion is that the title of this agreement be changed and the word intern be struck and replaced with student teaching, because it seems that the content of the agreement is about student teaching, not about interns, which is a different entity. But you can tell us if you agree with that. Otherwise, I'm in
Okay.
support of what we're trying to do here.
Well,
Because
They-
these teachers that are coming are really students who are getting their student teaching done. They're not going to be the teacher of record
no, these, when they were,
as
the
an intern
interns-
teacher.
interns are, in this particular agreement, interns are referred to as those students who need, could call it field placement, but it's not called field placement. They have to go out and do so much, is what is referred to as internship, actual work. So in this instance, although they're student teaching, it is referred to as internships.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, isn't it the intern referring to the school psychologists in this instance?
Yes.
That's what those are.
Yeah. Who are indeed doing an internship.
Mhm.
Well, it says students enrolled in teacher training curricula and/or students enrolled in counselor or psychology training curricula. So it seemed to be across the board.
I can take that word, I can
It-
change that word.
It's actually, as I read it, it's really only in our agenda item is
Mhm.
the agreement itself talks about student placement agreement, which
Okay. That's just, because this is commonly how they're referred to as interns, I can take it away, I can change it. I
in
can-
particular, I guess.
Do you need me to bring it back, or do
No.
you
No,
want
no,
to
no,
approve
no,
it
no,
with
no,
that
no.
note to take that word out?
I guess, given that we're approving an agreement, not an agenda item title,
Mhm.
I'm fine with the agreement as it is, because I think it's a clear enough nomenclature of what it's covering. I just
Okay.
wanted to make sure you had the same understanding that this is about student teaching placements, albeit
Or
including
schools-
in the psychology or counseling.
Correct. Although the psychologists won't be actually teaching, they will be doing their internship work.
Mhm.
Yes.
And
And should we get a student teacher, then that individual would be doing their student teaching work.
Right. And the student, the students who are getting their internship placement for counseling and/or psychology, are they under the supervision of our district staff?
Yes.
Are they independently
No, they're under the supervision.
providing services without?
They are
yeah.
under the close supervision
Yeah.
of our district staff.
Right. Yeah. Now, does that,
No, I
Member
just,
Dwight had-
if you could just kind of illuminate how this contract will support students.
In order for students to get their,
No, our students, Emeryville students.
well, in Emeryville, in terms of Emeryville students, it supports our students in that it gives extra support for our counseling department. The interns work in our wellness department, and because they're closely monitored by our school psychologist, it just provides another layer of service and assistance for our children, for our students.
So these employees will be working with our wellness department.
Right.
And supporting our students with counseling and any type of other student support services that they may need.
Right, they are students in the school counseling and social work programs, or the school
Right.
counseling and psychology programs.
Right.
So they have secured a degree of training and a degree
Right.
of education before they're able to move into the internship
Right.
process.
I'm with you there.
So they're coming in with some experience and some educational background behind them.
No, I'm just, yeah, and I'm fine with the credential part. I just, want for the public and for the board to explain how this helps our students in Emeryville.
It just gives a number of more bodies to help provide services to our students.
Right, okay. That's good. Now, go ahead.
And I also want to point out, this is a great way to build the reputation of Emeryville in these teaching programs, so when people
Exactly.
graduate, they have a lot of options.
Exactly.
And they go, oh, you know what, I did my student teaching in Emeryville, it's an awesome place, that's where I want to have my career.
Right,
So that's the other really big component, is we get these people early. And the same, even with the psych interns,
right.
they may not end up working for our district because we only employ so many psychologists, but they're out there and teachers go, you know, I really want to change districts. They say, you know, I did Emeryville, it's a great little district.
Right.
It's perfect for it. So,
So it's
I'll
not.
throw that out there.
So it's also, it could be a marketing tool for Emory as a district to attract,
Yeah.
you know, teachers.
Correct.
Great, sounds good. That's what I was looking for. Okay.
Yeah, and,
Well,
okay.
there's one more, there's one more.
Yeah.
There's one more.
Yeah, I think as a model, this is the right way to think, what we want to support is student teaching and field experience. I think that's the, before someone actually takes on the
Right.
full responsibility of being a counselor or a teacher,
And it's a
they ought
requirement.
to be in this kind of a clinical experience, so.
Mhm.
And I
That's
think
mutual.
we
It
do
helps-
benefit. I
It
think
helps
our-
the students, it helps the college program, it helps the students meet their academic needs, and it helps our students as well, our district as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you can have, when a student in our district can be able to communicate and talk and share their issues with someone that they feel may be around the same age and not too much older than they are.
Sometimes, yes.
Right, okay.
All right. Why don't we take public comment on this item, number 8?
Yeah, I just feel so very strongly that both student teaching and the psychologist and social worker internship programs are more than just benefiting those students. They are very powerful. The internship programs, that's what's built our wellness program over the
Right.
years, and I think it's important for you to understand that.
That's where I was going.
Without those interns,
Right.
yes, we have the supervisors on our staff now, and we had a fight to get them and get the funding for it. But we don't have the capacity without those interns. They're doing real work with students
Right.
all the time. And in terms of student teaching, over the years, student teachers have turned into some of our best teachers.
Right.
And they give relief to our teachers in the classroom. You know, there's another adult in the classroom. And at the same time, it's very, very important for, whether it's Emeryville or any other school district, for the children of this country, that we train teachers well. And so
Exactly.
having them in our schools is important.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Balf. Now, before we move to number 10, I'd just like to ask a question. Now, as Dr. Balf has said, we've done a terrific job with this regarding our wellness program, and it's kept our wellness program alive. My question is, can we look at doing the same, getting the same type of services from these colleges with tutorial and mentoring of our students?
We can look into that.
Yes, on the academic side?
We can look into that.
Okay, I appreciate it. Okay, can we move, we can move to 10? Oh, okay.
Why don't you go up to the mic?
To the mic.
Mind if I jump on in here? But with regards to that particular question, in our special education department, we, this last year, offered fieldwork placements to
Right.
2 university students.
Right.
And that was a way for us to expand services in academics for our
Right.
students, at the
Right.
same time as providing supervised experience for those individuals who are earning a credential in special education. This next year, we anticipate continuing to do that,
Right.
as well as to bring on student teachers.
Yes, great.
So
Thank
yes
you.
to your question.
Thank you.
And then just a comment about your earlier question is, we have over 60 students in our district that actually have written down on a document that they require counseling services.
Okay.
If we only had the service of our school psychologist, we would be unable to meet the need. We also have social emotional learning curriculum being implemented at both sites.
Okay.
And we would be unable to do that without the extra support of counseling and school psych interns.
Very valuable. Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, why don't we move on to number 10?
10.
I think we'll say voting on this till
Okay.
we
Just
combine it
again-
with the others.
And just again, if you can kind of explain how the program is supporting our teachers?
Well, this program is an actual, teacher internship program in the sense of hiring. This is different than just a student who would need their field placement.
Mhm.
This program would actually be teacher interns, individuals who are in a teacher credentialing program.
Mhm.
They have fulfilled X number of requirements and are in a position whereby their teacher credentialing program, be it if they are part of the Alameda County program or the Cal State East Bay program, or I think there are some others in here that they mentioned, the Holy Names. Those students would then be at a place where their credentialing program, their college or university, can then recommend them to the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing for an actual teacher credential. And they could be employed as actual teachers within districts after districts have pretty much exhausted all other avenues to
Mhm.
find experienced credential teachers. But the internship credentials are valid, CTC issued, CTC approved credentials.
Okay. So it's another way of us just trying to market our district and find the best qualified young incoming teachers to our district.
It helps those if you look at the universities here and if you read the cover letter,
Mhm.
it actually supports a number of programs within the county and within the colleges and universities. It's somewhat of a necessary service in some regards. It does help the teachers and it does help the districts.
Great. Thank you.
So I wanted to pull this item as well to make sure I communicate my priorities and feelings on this for our new superintendent, and to remind the board that our first obligation under the Ed Code 44225.7 is there is a hiring priority. And if we have fully credentialed teachers available with a preliminary professional clear, we should hire those teachers first.
Mhm.
And only if we don't have a fully credentialed teacher available, then we should go and hire an intern. Because an intern is still in training. They're still learning to become a teacher. And unlike the student teaching experience, an intern is the teacher of record. They have control of the classroom and the curriculum and the testing and the assessment. So there are some very effective interns who can hit the ground running or soon thereafter, but the law and my own preference is let's go with someone who's been fully trained before someone who's still in training.
And just
Well-
for a little bit more clarification, I understand, because I've worked with you a couple of years now, and I understand that the
Mhm.
fully credentialed teachers will always be the first priority. But just for those who may not know, even with the interns are also mentored and supervised by individuals from their credentialing program. They are assigned mentored teachers and supervision here within the district, so they're not just put in the classroom and left to go. They are still closely structured, closely supervised, closely monitored, and they still are required to receive X amount of training. Districts have to guarantee and agree to make sure they provide enough training, certain training, and allow them certain meetings in PD so that they can fulfill the true requirements of the job. That is not the first priority.
Yep.
It is
I appreciate
should nothing
that.
else work out.
And picking up on your point, I note with satisfaction that this agreement specifically upgrades, as it is required to by the Commission on Teacher Credentialing, upgrades the amount of supervision by our district
And the colleges.
and by the universities
Mhm.
On a regular basis that interns have to get, and particularly upgrades the kinds of pre-service training that they need and in-service support they need to teach English learners.
Yes.
And those upgrades are I have to take personal responsibility for, because that all came about as a result of litigation that public advocates and me and my colleagues threatened against the commission last year, and because we didn't think they were doing enough to require districts and universities support their interns around ELs. And we got regulations in place, and this is the trickle-down effect of that. So you're right that it's better, and I feel good that it's better.
Thank you.
Lastly, my one question for you, though, is just to be clear that we have the right of refusal on any of the interns that any of these institutions might offer us,
Oh,
correct? We're not
yes,
agreeing
we-
to
no, no,
take
no,
it,
no, no.
only...
We don't just say, send us somewhere, they say, I have one, send, no, no, no. After we've gone through our posting of our positions, and we've had applicants come in, and we haven't quite found the person, these individuals apply for these positions just as everyone else would. The schools don't send us people, the individuals apply. And based upon how they interview, what their background is, if they do a sample teaching, then if we consider offering them the position, then that's where this agreement comes into place. The district and the colleges will work together. If that individual has found, that person has found a job, and they have the offer of employment, then that college or university credentialing program can take what they have and then with that recommend them for an internship credential. The school actually recommends it.
They got to
But
have
no,
a
no.
job with the district first.
They have to have a job with the
and-
district,
yeah.
and then they'll be recommended by their college or university. But we're not just sent people. Yeah, well, I guess the short answer to your question was yes. We do not have to take
Yeah,
who they
and
should they send
you know, in
someone.
particular, I feel very comfortable with Cal State East Bay and Holy Names and the
Mhm.
USF special ed program. Those are all, well-established institutions. I feel less comfortable with the other institutions that are part of this agreement, which are, some of which are online, Southern California-based credentialing programs, and one of them, Patton, is a for-profit institution
Mhm.
that, with 2 years ago or 3 years ago, was placed on probation by WASC for not necessarily keeping up their standards. So I don't feel as comfortable with every equally comfortable with every institution that's part of this agreement.
We understand. In our past practice, without me standing here mentioning any specific names, our past practice with the few interns that we have hired have aligned with your thinking. Not having heard this statement from you before, just coincidentally, our practice is aligned with that thinking.
Well, as a follow-up question to Emeryville, who in our district is the individual who assesses the interns that come through the district?
That depends upon where the placement is. If it's a multiple subject or if it's a single subject, it'll be the school site administrators, and that'll be one, and they're also assigned a teacher within the district to work with them.
And I guess secondly, have we actually been doing strong assessments of these internships that you know of?
Yes,
Okay.
they get evaluated just like everybody else, yeah.
But currently, we don't have any interns, teachers, do we?
Currently, we do not.
Yeah, I think we currently, all our teachers are fully.
We might
credentialed.
have one, but I think they all have preliminaries.
Just a point of clarification, but we have some teachers who started as interns.
Sure.
But a
Right.
few, not a lot.
Okay.
But, you start as an intern. When you graduate from your intern program, you get a preliminary credential, become fully. So I have no problem with people who've gone through internship pathways. Once they graduated, they're fully credentialed.
But that's just not, you don't want that to be our first place we look.
Exactly.
Right.
Someone who's currently in an
Mhm.
intern. Right. I
Right.
don't want that to be our first place. But, I think we recognize that the job market, there's more money coming in the system with LCFF, and, it could be getting tighter to hire teachers, including, especially math, science, special ed, always a shortage area. So it's not a given that we're going to be able to maintain that 100% fully credentialed.
We're
but
going to work hard.
good.
We're not ready to let that go yet. So we're going to still let that be our first priority, and we're going to work hard for that. So that's how I just want to leave it. That's what we're always going to strive
Okay.
for first.
Thank you. Any other comments from the board on this item? Any public comments on this item? Okay, no one was pulling number 11, so I think we're ready to vote on all of the consent items minus item 8, which we already voted on. So 1 through 7 and 9, 10, 11. You want to do a roll call?
Member Ash?
Yes.
Member Dwin?
Yes.
Member Pats?
Yes.
Vice President Affelt,
Yes.